Hi everyone, my name's Alison and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make this card. For me it's the first Christmas card for this year, and I've actually made this here using the Field Tiles dies, which I'll show you in a second. But as you can see, it's, well, I'll just call this a window card. But yeah, I thought, well, I'll show you the dies. It's this die here. So it's actually a square die, but then we've cut out a circle in the centre of our card, which then just brings out this centrepiece, which I thought looked sort of like a snowflake or a star, but I thought it looked Christmassy. And with it done in the gorgeous balmy blue glitter card, it just really does look stunning. And then inside I've used the lovely what's it called, the Snowflake Splendor Designer Series paper, which is light enough that you can write your message on. And then we've covered up here with a piece of cardstock, but we'll show you all that. I'll show you that anyway. And then the sentiment here is from the Snowflake Wishes stamp set. This has got lovely sentiments on here. Snowflake wishes for a Merry Christmas, which is what we'll be using. Thank you so much. Happy Hanukkah. May your season sparkle in the coldest moments of the year. My heart is warm because you're near, and our friendship is one of a kind. So that's a nice set to suit everything. Really nice. Anyway, let's get started. Oh, one other thing, how could I forget? I shall also be doing my die cutting and my embossing using the new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I got that yesterday, so I'm getting used to it. This video is obviously going to be showing you how to make the card rather than doing a full demonstration on the machine. But if you would like a full demonstration, then just let me know, and I will gladly do a video to show you. But for now, right, so we're going to need standard card base, which is 8 1/4 by 5 3/4, scored at 4 1/8, and I've done mine out of Whisper White thick cardstock. We're then going to need 2 pieces of Whisper White, standard Whisper White, which is 5 5/8 by 4 inches, so that's 2 of those, and a piece of DSP, which again is 5 5/8 by 4 inches. You then want 2 pieces of the balmy blue glimmer. What's it called? I'll give you the proper name. Yeah, balmy blue glimmer paper. And on this one, I just had the glitter on the front, and that's okay on the back, but I'm actually going to make 2 and stick them together, so we haven't got this white on the back. Hopefully it'll look okay. And these measure 3 inches square. And then for the sentiment, we just want a piece that is 3/4 of an inch by 4 inches. And for this shape here, we have used the Lovely You Labels Punch. And we'll be using the same sentiment as well. So let's get started. Right, so firstly what we're going to want to do is we need to, let's bring the one in here, we need to now make our cutout in the front of our card. Now I've chosen to put this in the middle. You can of course move it up if you want to, but I actually think that looks nice where it is, so I'm going to do this one with it in the middle. And I have used for these the layering circles dies. I have used, which one was it? I think it was this one here. Let me just double check. Because I've used the largest of the scallop die. This is what, I don't know, yeah, you can see it. So see, I've made a little frame around there. So I've used the largest scallop die for that. And I believe, yeah, so I've then used sorry, right, let's start again. So that's the smallest. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's number 6 of the plain circle. And then number 6 of the plain circle, and then the largest, which then should be number 8 of the scallop. But for now we just need the number 6. And we want to position this on our card. Oh, we're going to put it in the middle. And you want that as central as you can get it. Just hold that up a bit. Okay, and then once you're happy with where that is, you want a piece of low tack tape. And what you want to do when you're going to stick the die on, because this centerpiece it's not going to be on our card, you want to stick the edge of the tape on the die and then the remainder on this centerpiece. Because I do find even when tape is low tack, I have known it before just to take the top layer off of the card. So to avoid that, just try and not get any of the tape on your actual card. Although in this instance we're actually going to be covering it, but it's still good practice just to do that. We should only need tape on one side. So now I'll bring in the machine. And here it is. As I say, I'm not going to do a full demonstration, but I will demonstrate as I'm going. So we just need to pull each side down, and it does click, that's quite normal. And the plates that you get, let's just move this out of the way while I show you the plates. So you get a base plate, which is number 1. We'll obviously all be using this, and the handy thing is as well is that it's showing us what layers we need for each thing that we're using. So this says using with thin dies. I've been using all different dies and you need the same layout. So it says to use number 2, which is this one here. So you'll always use this with dies. Then you use the 2 cutting plates, which is number 3. And I always only cut into 1 plate at a time. I just find it stops, I don't know why, but it stops it bending. So I use just 1 plate solely for cutting. Then when this is just all totally covered and it's starting to mark, you know, if it's just not working as it should anymore, I then swap it to this one, buy a new one, and then start all over again. So just try and cut only ever into 1 plate at a time, and I just find it's made my plates last a lot longer. Obviously I haven't tried with these yet because these are new. So these are all the oh gosh, what are they called? Plates. These are just the plates that we'll be using at the moment. We've also got this one, which is what you use for 3D embossing folders. And it's literally just the base plate and this, your 3D embossing folder and then this. But I won't be using that today. So for the die, we need the base plate, number 2, put our card on, and that's because at the moment this isn't magnetic. They will be doing, Stampin' Up will be doing a magnetic base plate, but yeah, at the moment we haven't been given a date for that. And also this will be available for everybody to buy from the 1st of September. If you're a demonstrator, we've been lucky enough that we can pre-order them now. Right, so let's put the, I haven't put the base on. As I say, if you do want me to do a full demo on this machine, by all means let me know and I will do that for you. Right, so let's plop that on there, and we'll bring the machine back and I'll just run that through, and it is so easy. I mean, it's so smooth. I can just do it with 2 fingers. It's so easy to do, it's lovely. And I'm sorry if I'm very shaky actually. I'm in my table's not the sturdiest. I'm in a different room today because it's so unbelievably hot. We're day 2 of a heat wave, and I normally work in my conservatory, but that's like an oven. So right, so now we've got that, and there we have our circle in the centre of our card. Okay, take that off. So now what we want to do is, with our first piece of Whisper White, that, just to remind you, is 5 5/8 by 4 inches. This is this piece here. So what we need to do is also cut out the circle in this piece as well. We'll then be embossing it as well, and it is important to, it is important to cut out your circle first and then emboss it, because if you do it the other way, you'll end up flattening your embossing. So we just need to cut the circle out first. So the easiest way I found to do this is checking that you've got it around the right way. Yes, it will be like that. You want to put the card inside and just line it up inside, because then it will, when you've lined it up in there, you know that it's going to be the same more or less on the front as well. And while you're holding it in place, just then close it up without moving it, and then put your circle die back over the top and move it around until you find it there. It's now gone into place, and if I shake it or try and move it, it's not going anywhere because it's now fitted into the circle that was previously cut out. And so you hold that there, and then you just want to draw a pencil line, which I think I've left my pencil in my other room. So I'll just go and get that. Right, so I've got my pencil. Now, check that's all lined up again. Now when we draw around it, it's fine to do that because the actual cutting bit is sort of in the middle of this, so this inner circle is going to be discarded anyway. But it just helps us to then line up the die. So there we go. And so now when we put that on our cutting plate, you can line up the die to the pencil line, as close as you can. Okay, and then with your piece of tape again, just hold that in place. And I think we will just put a piece on the other side, just to be on the safe side. There we go. Okay, and then we'll run this through the machine again. so now when you put that against your card front, move it around slightly and you'll find that that matches up perfectly. Okay, and so now what we want to do is we want to emboss this piece. But what we're going to do first is we're going to cut out our little border, which I've just realised I haven't given you the measurements of the cardstock that you're going to need. So you're going to want to also have a piece of Whisper White cardstock that is approximately 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches. And for this, what we're going to do is lay down our largest, which is number 8, the largest scallop of the layering circles. And then with the circle that we've been using, take that off of there. We then want to lay that inside and try and get as much of an even border as you can. And then once you're happy with that, hold the both down and then just use your tape to hold both. Just move slightly. There we go, and then use your tape just to hold them both down. And again we'll put a piece on the other side. Okay, and then we'll run that through the machine. There we go, and now if you find that you've got this sort of groove that's sort of embossed in it, it's the edge of the dies that sometimes does that. I find the easiest way to get rid of them is to turn it over. You see what I mean? Yeah, see how that's embossed in there? Turn it over and just go over it with your bone folder, just rubbing over it. Again, apologies for my table shaking. But yeah, just rubbing over it, just doesn't get rid of it totally, but it's certainly not as noticeable as it was. There we go. So I'll move that to one side. That's it for our circle dies now. So what we will do now is we will die cut our balmy blue glitter paper. Again, we'll need to do one at a time. You can't really put double thickness through the machine in case it puts too much pressure on. So we'll put that on there. And just run that through. That's that done. Now I mean this is so pretty. I'm actually at the moment saving all these little pieces because I think I'm going to use those for quite a time consuming project, because I just thought that would look lovely. Paper like pieced into another perhaps white. So I'm going to save those. So let's just put that to one side. Get my little pot just to take those off. Okay, so let's just cut the other one out first. I mean, even that, look, it's like a lovely little frame for something. I'm going to keep everything. It's so gorgeous, this paper. Well, it's more of a, it is a card. Okay, so let's run this one through. Let's check there's no bits in there, which there isn't. There we go. That's okay. Oh, and one thing I did actually run this through twice because it's quite intricate. I just wanted to make sure that it was definitely die cut all the way through. So yeah, do run it through twice. Okay, then we've got our nice little frame. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go and take out all of these pieces, and I shall be right back. Right, okay, so we've now got our two die cut pieces. So I've saved all the innards. What we're now going to do is to stick these to each other so that they're double-sided like that. Now, so we want to try and line it up so that you can't see any of the other side, and it's more important that it's this section here that's lined up because this is going to be covered up. So just line it up as best as you can, and we'll just yeah, I think we'll just use adhesive for that, liquid glue. We don't want to use too much, but if we just dot it about okay, so once you've got enough glue on, we'll then just put one on top of the other. Don't push down until you know that it's lined up. And then when you're happy with where it is, just give it a gentle squeeze. And it's like that. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut these pieces off here, because if we don't do that, you can just see them slightly when we put it on a card like that, and I didn't particularly like that, so I'm just going to cut. Let's use my thin scissors actually. Just cut these pieces away. And you need a little bit cut off. Oops. There we go. Okay, let's move. I won't bother saving these pieces. Right, so now what we need to do is, I also inside covered up where it was stuck, because we're going to be sticking this on here. In fact, looking at that, we could probably keep that as is, because that looks quite nice. So, no I won't, because of where I cut those off. So if you wanted to, didn't think of that until just now, if you don't cut these pieces off, you could just leave that on there like that. Wish I'd looked at that before actually, because that would have looked quite nice. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do this section here. And the way to do that is you want the right side of your cardstock, which is that way, and you actually want to then turn it over, line it up on the front, hold it in place and open it up like that. And then we need to get our circle die again, just wriggle it around until it feels like it's gone into the cut already made. Now it has, and then use the pencil and draw round again. And then we'll die cut that out. Okay, that's that piece done, and then that should then line up on there. And so it's a good idea to actually keep your pieces separate, because you might find they're not going to be exact. If you look, see that's slightly over. That's pretty close. Okay, but good idea to keep them separate. So that's the inside, this is the front. So what we're going to do now is we're going to emboss our two pieces. And for that we need to remove plate 2, and it's just base plate, which is number 1. And because the embossing folder that we're using, which is Winter Snow, it's not a 3D embossing folder, so we still need to use our 2 number 3 plates. So we open it up, and line it up. I have noticed this embossing folder hasn't got a line on actually to line up, but I suppose because it's snowflakes they don't have to be dead straight, so that's fine. So remembering as well that you have to have the seam of the embossing folder going in first. Okay, so I'll just run that through. And there you have it. So lovely. Okay, so that's for our front piece. And now we need to do the same again for our inner piece. I think that's it now. We're done with using our machine, so we can just fold up the sides and it's nice and neat and compact. I'll just store that away. Our piece out here, remembering that's our inner piece. So we're now ready to start putting things together. So what we'll do first is we will stick our front on, checking we got it round the right way. That looks pretty good, and we'll just stick that on using liquid glue. Okay, and then we want our Whisper White frame that we made earlier, and again we'll just stick that down with liquid glue. There we go. Okay, and then next we need to stick this piece in. Now you can just really do it by eye. Like that, that'll look fine. So we'll just put some glue all around the edge. Okay, and then just line it up. As best as you can. Okay, and just push down. I think looking at it now, I mean, you could leave it like that, but it looks like this edge is unfinished, so I think it will still look nicer covering it like that. Okay, and that's what we're going to stick on next, is that piece there. And what you want to do is just squeeze on the edges there, just so you can check that you've got it all stuck down. It's going to be a bit thicker in the middle there because we've obviously got the double thickness. There we go. And that's how it was before. Nice. And then we want to put our piece of DSP in. Actually, it's nice that side too. So I'll do this side. Right, so now all we need to do is do our sentiment, and I am going to be using the Lovely You punch, and I do find it's easier to punch out your label first and then stamp on top, because otherwise it's hard to get your sentiment in the middle and then punching it in the middle. So we'll put that in there, and it should be lined up. There we go. And then turn it round. Check it's in the middle, punch again. There we go. And then that just sits on the bottom there. And I've already got my stamp on my block. This is block H, which is perfect for this particular stamp, and again I'm using Snowflake Wishes for a Merry Christmas, and I'm going to use, that's my pen just fallen off the table, there we go. Going to use Balmy Blue ink. I'd used on this card Highland Heather to bring out some of the purple. I don't have Highland Heather blends, So I used, I think that's Light's Blackberry Bliss. So it's not quite matching, but it looks okay. Right, so no ink on. Okay, and then just line that up. There we go, give that a minute to soak in. And there we go. Nice. And I'm going to pop this on dimensionals, I think. Okay, so at my dimensionals. Use tweezers to get these off. So put one there. One at the end. One there. And one there. Use that. Take a pick to take the backings off. There are some people that can do that really quickly. I don't know how they do it so quick. Right, so I'll put that down the bottom. There we go. And then to finish it off, I'm going to use my dark balmy blue Stampin' Blend. And I've got just some gems that I need to use up, and you can colour them with your Stampin' Blend so they go from being the clear, you might not be able to see that very well, but it just gives them a hint of the balmy blue. So we'll just do 6 for now. I think I've just coloured in 7, never mind. And then I should use my tweezers and I'll just pop them anywhere you like, randomly in the middle of the snowflakes. Oops. Hopefully we'll just put another one . Just on that side there. And there you have it, a relatively simple card. That done with just the balmy blue. This one's with the Highland Heather. You could actually, with this, you could die cut it out of normal cardstock and wipe your embossing ink over it and then cover it with clear embossing powder. That will give it like an enamel finish. I'm actually going to do that later on today, and I shall post that up on my blog a little, like in the next couple of days for you to have a look at. But I hope you like them. If you do, please give me a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so, and then also if you hit the bell icon, you'll be notified when I upload any other future videos. Thank you for watching. Bye.